Good evening and happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Movie Night on the Basement Show with Mr. Nast. I am Mr. Nast, and joining us back in studio for the first time in over a month, like you said.
Yeah, about almost 2 months.
Is Miss Andrea. She missed us so much, she wanted to come back.
I'm back. Sorry, November and December was a bit rough with me with work, but I'm back.
It is quite all right. We are just happy to have you back in the show. Did you like that intro? Did I do it pretty good?
That's a good intro. I like it.
It's something different, the theme.
Right? Yeah.
So wait a couple seconds, see if anyone wants to pop in. We have a lot of fun planned for this evening. So if you like movies and you like this show, because we are going to be talking all about the movies that are being released in 2023.
Thanks, Kevin. It's good to be back.
Hello, Mr. Kevin. Thanks for popping in tonight. Nice to see you.
Yeah, should be a really fun discussion tonight. I'm excited to see the up-and-coming films, get some feedback from our viewers and from you as well, John, on anything and everything that is in the lineup for 2023. It seems like it's going to be a really interesting film year.
It should be. So,
Morgan, I'm here for you.
We got Kathy Bennett in the chat. And Morgan, you don't have to support me. I will give you a free pass tonight because Andrea's back. So you can criticize me all you want. We got Miss Kelsey in the building. Hello, Miss Kelsey. Good evening.
Thank you. Good to be back. Missed you guys.
I brought her back out of retirement, even though she didn't never officially retire. But...
Yeah, we were supposed to be back last Friday, but we had a freak snowstorm and it knocked out the internet, and it just was not a good time.
Well, plus I was at a wedding last Friday night, and everything just went haywire. I apologize for having to cancel last Friday. It's not a habit I would like to get into, so... Even if one of us has to run a show solo, we will press forward and try our best to make sure we have shows on the nights we are supposed to have shows. So
I don't like being solo, but I'll do it for you, John.
Well, if you watch that end of the You video, I actually put a clip of the show that you ran by yourself, and at the top of it, I put Andrea the Natural. Mm-hmm. So I think you did very well by yourself.
And I appreciate that.
So
why don't we begin tonight's show instead of us starting immediately from our list? Why don't we talk about maybe top 3 movies up and coming that you're really excited for?
Yeah, that works. If you want me to start, or do you want to start?
No, go ahead. You start, and then I'll do my 3.
Well, first one on my list that I'm eager to see, just because I've grown up with the franchise. If someone's watching, I apologize in advance for this one, but I'm very eager to see Scream 6 because I grew up on the whole Scream series. You figure being almost 36 years old, Scream was old, like one of those franchises that started when I was a kid and that has kept growing as the years have gone on. Granted, the movies have gotten cheesier, more predictable, but the last one was actually pretty decent. However, this one might throw a bit of a curveball because Neve Campbell is not in it. When you think of Scream, you think of Sidney Prescott and Neve Campbell being like intertwined as one character, but due to a contract dispute, she would not agree to appear in this movie. The only one that's in it out of the original cast is Courtney Cox.
Oh wow!
No, so they have think a couple of people back from Scream 4 and Scream 5, the survivors. This is like their survival tale. And it's filmed in Manhattan, which kind of doesn't make sense.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've only seen the first Scream. And I didn't make it very far because I don't do horror, as you know. So, I mean, I tried. I really did. I turned it on and I was like, no, it's not my style.
Well, if there's someone in the chat named Shannon Moll, she'll tell you firsthand she won't watch any of them because of what I did to her as a kid. I tortured her and tormented her, and I kind of ruined the movies for her. To this day, she will not watch any Screams. So, Shannon, if you're watching, I'm deeply apologetic, and I'm sorry to this day. But yeah, Scream 6 is top of my list because that comes out this year. I don't expect much from it. It is released on March 10th. It was originally supposed to come out March 31st, but wanted to try to draw a bigger box office appeal. So they moved it up 3 weeks to have the spotlight on its own. So see how that plays out. Another one I'm looking forward to is, where's it out on my list? Fast 10. I mean, again, these movies have been great. After like 5 or 6, it just kind of got drawn out. You lose one of your main characters in Paul Walker, but they kept going, pressing forward. And Fast 10 is actually split into 2 parts.
Mhm.
Part 1's coming out this year, and Part 2 is being released next year, and then that's it. Apparently, they are doing some type of special effect to include Paul Walker into this. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm curious to see. Plus, what can Dom Toretto and the group get into now? They've done pretty much everything already. So that's number 2 on my list. And then the last one is a movie called Oppenheimer that Christopher Nolan is directing that is scheduled to be released in the middle of July.
That's on my top 3 as well. That's probably my number 2 top movie that's coming out this year. That one more so because my husband is a science teacher, so I just think that it's going to be really interesting to see, and one that me and him will actually enjoy. And then the whole story behind like the atomic bomb, like that's just really interesting, and I think that it's going to be extremely well done for a Christopher Nolan movie.
So Cassie says, I've never seen any of the Scream movies. A lot of people haven't, Cass. I just grew up watching like the scary movie aspect of it. So like I've always been about horror movies ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, it is cool, Kelsey. He's been doing teaching for 9 years now, I believe. He's high school science teacher, physics and chemistry.
Jeez. And then
so smarty.
And then right above that, Cassie wrote, Fast and the Furious needs to figure out how to say to Paul Walker's character. I completely 100% agree.
You think that's what they're maybe trying to do with number 10 is figure out how to officially say goodbye?
Well, it's not just Paul Walker's character. You got to say goodbye to everybody. I think the series has been drug out long enough. Like, don't get me wrong. The first couple of movies were absolutely phenomenal. But then tragically losing Paul Walker kind of took a little bit from those movies. So.
Agreed.
If you want to give your top 3, I'll throw in an honorable mention for me after your top 3, though.
Okay. So my number 1, obviously, is the Super Mario's movie. And the reason being is 1, kids, and 2, Jack Black as Bowser. I'm all for it. I'm so excited to see how this movie plays out. I mean, part of me is like, don't get your hopes up high because it's probably going to disappoint, but I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, and I'm really excited to see all the various actors and actresses that they have. I mean, they've got a pretty stellar cast. So I'm excited to see how it plays out together on the screen. And then you mentioned number 2, Oppenheimer. I'm really excited for that one. And then I think number 3 would have to be Dune Part 2. My husband's really into Dune. He got me to go see Dune Part 1 3 times in the theaters. And I have to say it was actually really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Part 2 plays off and how the story continues.
Yeah, I guess I forgot to write down. I did see it on that list. I forgot to write down the date, though. I think it comes out sometime in late summer, if I'm not mistaken.
That's about when the Part 1 came out. I want to say it was like midsummer.
Gotcha. But like,
sorry, I keep drinking.
That's all right. I gotta drink.
My throat's still a little rough and dry, so.
All good. So that's just our top 3. Now I'm going to throw out an honorable mention movie that I'm looking forward to see, and it's a movie called The Exorcist. Like, yes, everyone thinks, oh, great, The Exorcist, why going to be some dumb, cheesy spin-off of the original? Well, apparently they're doing a remake of the original. One, I'm usually not for seeing movies being remade, but you figure the original one came out in 1973. So fast forward almost 50 years, and now we're getting a complete reboot of the original. I'm just really curious to see how it plays out.
Was that the one that I messaged you that one day where I'm like, where I'm like, guess what I'm watching? I'm watching a horror movie, and I just thought it was the stupidest thing ever. Like, I can get like the horror aspect of it, but like, I just thought it was really stupid. Is that the one where like she gets abducted like through the TV or something, and like they have to rescue her, and the house is like keeping her hostage, or is that a different movie?
That's a different movie.
because like reading the synopsis of this new Exorcist, I'm like, I have seen this one, but I've also seen that other one, but I can't remember what one that was called. But like, it's just kind of funny. Like the older horror movies are just, you look at them now in today's time, how horror has grown, and you just kind of laugh and you're like, well, why did we ever think that this was a horror movie?
Yeah, that is true. I like this question that Kathy just presented. What do you find harder to watch? A movie that the franchise is drawn out, or a remake of a movie you liked the first time?
Oh,
That's a really good, detailed question.
I think Halfenda will watch a remake of a movie you liked the first time. I've never really understood why they choose to remake a movie. I've seen a couple of remakes where they were just awful. And it's like you just enjoy the original so much better. And then the remake, you're just like, well, now you like ruined my favorite movie ever.
I mean, I see your point. That is an excellent, good point to look at. But I gotta lean the other way. I think a movie that franchise is just drawn out. Sometimes like a movie's good the first 2, 3 movies, sure, but then it gets drawn out. Like people use Halloween as an example. The first 2 Halloween originals were absolutely phenomenal movies. Then 3, 4, 5, and 6 just were horrible. They kind of retold it and got better with like H2O, but then they bombed with Resurrection. But then Rob Zombie had a good part 1 and 2, and then they made the last 3 that came out with Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. So, like, I'd say a movie franchise that's drawn out can sometimes hinder what you get out of an original movie compared to a remake.
I definitely agree there too with you, because that as well, like you really enjoy, say, just the first 2, and you're like, after the story of the second one, you feel pretty satisfied, like they don't need to make a third. And then what do you do? What do? They make a third, and they completely like go off topic, like how Morgan's talking about the Milan live version. Like, let's just say instead of a remake, it was like Milan number 3. Like, what was the need for that? It had nothing to do with the story.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see your point there.
Like you had just mentioned that they're making a Gremlins 3 movie. I didn't see that on my list, but like, how are you going to do a third Gremlins after the first 2? The second one was all right, but the original was great. Then they make the second one. Okay, I'll give it a pass. But now you're saying that they're making a third one. It's like, how? Why?
It's really I understand necessary. Some of them, like it's more of a cash grab, and they're like, well, it was successful before, so why not try to make a third? And let's see if we can't make some bank off of that.
Yeah, well, that's like the Scream franchise. Like I said, the first 2, 3 movies were okay, but then 4, 5, and 6, they're just going for that, like you said, cash grab. They didn't really need to make those other movies, but they said, okay, people still pay to watch these movies, so we're going to drop another one. So it's really how you look at it. So, is there any movies within the people in the chat that you're looking forward to seeing? Like, let us know. Feel free to drop a comment of a movie that you want to see in 2023.
So Morgan, if you actually like view the Milan live action as not Milan, it's actually a pretty decent movie. But if you base it completely off of the Milan that we know and love, then it was horrible.
But if not, we can start talking about other movies that are coming out in 2023 if you want. So,
yeah. I just saw that they're making a remake of Disney's Haunted Mansion. I loved the Eddie Murphy version, so I'm pretty. I don't know, like I'm excited, but I don't want to get my hopes up. But I mean, it's got Jared Leto, Jamie Lee Curtis, Winona Ryder, Danny DeVito, so stellar cast.
Yeah, but sometimes there's movies that have a stellar cast, but then like flop really bad.
I mean, I think the story is going to be funny enough for it to be successful, but I don't know, like that's kind of going back to the would you rather them remake or extend the franchise? That you get that, well, is it going to be as good as the first one? or maybe because the first one was done so long ago, they're like, well, let's remake it in today's day and age with the better technology. And
well, that's what a lot of movies are trying to do nowadays. They figure that the enhancement has really like grown like technology wise. So we're gonna try to take a movie that we released 20 years ago and re-release it with the new special effects.
Right.
So it's just very interesting to see how they do it. Plus, you got a lot of animated movies now being made into live action movies. I know the number one on that list this year is the Little Mermaid movie with Halle Berry playing Ariel.
I am pretty intrigued. So Little Mermaid's not like my favorite Disney story out there, but I'm intrigued. Like, I know it's going to be really good. You got Melissa McCarthy, I think.
Yes, I think she's playing Ursula.
Yeah, and then you got Halle Berry as Ariel. So that's going to be really interesting, and I think those two in cast together will be fun. But like, I don't know, the story to me, it's just kind of bleh. You know what I mean? Like, it's no disrespect because Little Mermaid is actually like pretty solid as an animated movie. Kids love it, but I'm just like, I don't know.
But again, you figure they waited almost 30 years to go from an animated version of it to a real life action.
It makes you kind of wonder, like, what was their thought process on that? Like, why so long when Disney has already released so many live actions?
Yeah, like I don't know if Morgan's still in the chat. I know she said she was hanging out for you, but like I don't know how Morgan feels about it. Like the Little Mermaid is a favorite of Morgan's. I know that much, but like I'm curious to see what Morgan has to say about it if she's still in the chat. Like you said, it's intriguing, but is it gonna be one of those movies that like grab your attention?
It's definitely not going to be one that I see in the movies, and maybe we can, with each of the shows that we talk about tonight, we can voice our opinion on that. Like, is it one that you're going to want to go see in the theaters, or is it one that you're going to wait until it's on like a streaming service or something?
Yeah.
Little Mermaid for sure is one that I will just wait until it's on Disney Plus.
Well, Morgan's first comment about Halle Berry's playing a 16-year-old girl, but it's kind of weird. I doubt it's going to be like the original if this is the case. It may not be. I don't understand how you can put someone like a Halle Berry, who's, I'm not trying to disrespect her, like in her 40s and 50s, into a 16-year-old role. So
I agree, Kathy. Definitely unnecessary to make a live action of every animated movie.
Yeah.
Hi, Curtis. Good to see you tonight.
Evening, Curtis, thanks for popping in.
So John and I, we both have a list. Off of Rotten Tomatoes, we have a list of the top 35 most anticipated movies of the 2023 season. So we figured we would go down that list tonight. And then I pulled up another list off that I got from IMDb. And they're quoting about 2,400 movies coming out in 2023, and obviously we're not going to go through all 2,400 tonight, but
I don't think
I'm like whatever's not on the top 35 list, we can look through IMDb's list and say, oh well, this one wasn't on there. So but yeah, obviously not all 2,400. I don't want to be here all night.
I don't think everybody else
I mean, I like you guys, but I do want to go to bed at a decent time tonight.
2,400 movies, a minute a movie, that's what, 2,400 minutes? That's a couple days.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you call a movie marathon. I've done those before, but no, I want to keep you on for 24 hours straight, trust me.
And our list goes by months that they're being released, not like a consecutive, like, oh, number one is number one. It just goes by when they're expected to be released. So the first movie tonight is Magic Mike's Last Dance. Why they felt the need to make another Magic Mike movie, well, I don't know. I never got into it, never seen interested.
You didn't know. Thanks for popping in.
This one I'm not going to see in the theaters. I'm not going to see it on Netflix or anything. So yeah, this one is not an anticipated movie for me.
I have yet to see the new Avatar, but I've heard nothing but suspicious things about it. What?
I've heard mixed reviews. Like I've heard some people who really liked it. I've heard people who thought it was absolute trash. So I'm gonna wait until it comes out on the streaming. But it is one that I am kind of curious about. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first one, but it's interesting because Avatar is so different.
Yeah, well, James Cameron came out and said when the second one came out, like the opening day, basically, if this movie makes 600 million, we'll break even. I already have the script written for the third one. We're pressing forward with it. So I'm just curious to see what actually happens with it. So, but actually, before Magic Mike comes out in February, there was a movie that came out tonight, actually, called Megan,
You were
which
telling
is
me about.
almost like a supernatural type movie directed by the same people that did Annabelle and all those movies. So again, horror, sorry, but as a horror fan, like I'm eager to see what it is because they're supposed to add like supernatural effects to it. It's supposed to be like a robotic doll that comes out like this time. So intriguing.
Are you gonna try to go see it during your free time, or are you just gonna wait until it comes to the streaming?
I'll probably wait till it comes out and stream it.
But I've noticed like it's getting expensive to go to the movies, but sometimes it's just fun to get out and go.
I think the last movie I saw in the movie theater was Morbius. And that was pretty decent. I saw that with a friend that came up from Florida. So
Okay. Do you have any thoughts about Magic Mike? I mean, I can tell from your facial expression you're just dying to go see it.
Yeah, everyone loves Channing Tatum. So
Kelsey, I'm the same way, girl. I feel that.
Me in a horror movie is not a good mix. Well, I guess because you're not watching any movies with me in the near future. But no, I'm with you. Like, if you're a female, of course, Magic Mike is top of the list because you love Channing Tatum. But
unless you're me and could care less.
Yeah, I don't have any desire to see it whatsoever.
The next one on the Rotten Tomatoes list is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I really liked Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I'm really, really, really excited to see where the story picks up. It says that this movie should have been released last year, but they had to delay it. And I've noticed it's got Bill Murray expected in the lineup, so I'm curious to see what kind of part he plays in this movie.
And then you can't forget Paul Rudd, like he does awesome as Ant-Man. So.
This one, if we get the chance, I would like to see it in the theaters, but it'll probably be one that we wait and see when it comes out on Disney.
Yeah.
We try to see like the Marvel-based movies or whatever in theaters if we can, but when you have two kids, that's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, well, they said that there is actually technically 5 Marvel movies coming out in 2022. So Marvel's going full-fledged out this year. So the next one after that is a movie called 65. Now, reading the preview of this made it sound intriguing because it's like about an astronaut who lands on an opposite planet with like no life form. Here he lands on prehistoric Earth. So it's almost like he travels back in time. So I guess that might make it a little bit interesting to see like a prehistoric Earth, like before life forms was something around. I'm sure your husband would be intrigued given a science teacher.
But... Yeah, and with it being a sci-fi thriller, sorry for the kids in the background, guys. So with it being a sci-fi thriller, that's a movie category that we both actually really enjoy. And it has a really interesting premise, like how you're saying. It's going to be really interesting to see going back in time kind of feel, and it's got Adam Driver. He's well known in the Star Wars franchise, so that'll be really cool to see him back on the big screen.
We got Prince in the chat. Good evening, Prince. Thanks for popping in.
Hey, Prince. And I see Creed 3. Do you know anything about the Creed movies?
I mean, it's supposed to be a spinoff of the Rocky series. What Creed is basically Apollo Creed's son now takes the ropes.
Hmm.
So after Apollo is killed in Rocky IV, they show Creed is supposed to represent his son.
Appreciate the share bond, Prince.
Thank you, Chris. But I haven't seen one or two. They've all basically pretty much been filmed in Philly. Michael
Hmm.
Jordan, the actor, not the basketball player,
Yeah.
has been doing supposedly a really phenomenal job with these movies. I think this is the first one that you won't actually see Sylvester Stallone star in. I
Hmm.
think he's taking more of that backseat role this one. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. I've heard good things about the first two, but
Boxing just isn't like a sport that I'm into, and I'm into most every other sport out there. So this one will probably just sit on the back burner. Like I might watch it and I might not. I mean, I didn't even know what the series was about until I just read about it right now, and I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have thought like boxing.
well,
Um,
just look at it this way. If you ever heard of what Rocky was back in the day, okay?
hmm,
With Sylvester Stallone and all, like
hmm,
Rocky Balboa.
yeah.
Creed is the opposite. It's the same type of aspect, but now you're pulling out Rocky out of it and putting Apollo Creed's
Hmm.
kid into the mix.
Okay.
So just think of a Rocky series movie.
And then we touched base on the next one, Scream 6.
Yep.
That's coming out the same day as 65. So it'll be interesting to see how the two compare in the box office.
Cassie's like, and vaguely remembering hearing a Wonka movie come out.
Yes. Me and John briefly discussed this before the show. We were talking about some of our exciting thoughts and movies that are coming out. And John mentioned there being a Wonka movie. And I'm like, I actually didn't hear that. And when I was looking at the list, it didn't make our list, but it made IMDb's.
It made Rotten Tomatoes. It's always at the
Oh,
bottom.
did it? I must have missed it. But that one, I'm curious because you have the Willy Wonka movie, and then you have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I know that this is supposed to be like based on Wonka as a kid. So I don't know if it's going to be like that interesting. You know what I mean? Like life before the Chocolate Factory. It might,
But Timothy Cabernet is playing Wonka, so that might save it a little bit.
They did do a movie based on Walt Disney before he was before he was the well-known Walt Disney, and that was actually a really good movie. So Wonka definitely, like, I'm not gonna say like it's not gonna be one that I watch, but I'm not gonna like have that expectations of, oh, this is gonna be like a really, really good movie. But I'm gonna keep my mind open.
Morgan begs to differ. She seems pretty excited about it. So when someone puts 3 exclamation points, I can tell someone's excited. And Morgan's definitely excited. I can tell. So the next one after Scream I have is Shazam.
Fury of the Gods. This one looks really good. I enjoyed the first Shazam. I didn't know anything about the character Shazam until the movie came out, so it was my first time ever hearing about it. And I remember thinking like, oh, I'm never gonna watch this. And when I actually sat down and watched it, it was one of those like, holy cow, like why was I doubting that this wasn't gonna be a good movie? And it ended up being really good.
Not to be rude, but is this the same Shazam that Shaquille O'Neal played back in the day? Is it something completely different?
That's completely different.
Okay. Then I never seen the new one then.
No, it's good. It's got Zachary Levi, and Asher Angel. Billy Batson is a teenage kid who gets magical powers, and he just says Shazam, and then he turns into this really muscular superhero.
Interesting.
So I'm really excited to see this one because like just watching the trailers, it seems like his whole family or his whole group of friends get superpowers. Mm-hmm. So I'm really, really excited to see this one, and I'm hoping I can see this in the theaters. But if I don't, I mean, I'll wait for it, obviously. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this one definitely is in, I would say not top 3, but probably number 4 in terms of like how excited I am for movies.
Honorable mention. That is the proper word to look at it. Kathy says she's old enough to remember the Shazam TV show.
Huh. I didn't even know there was a TV show.
Neither did I. And I'm almost 36. That's kind of scary.
But yeah, Jen, add that on your movies to watch. Shazam.
Okay. I still got to watch Wonderstone from July, okay?
I don't know if that one's on a streaming service. I'll have to find it for you. I own it. I can mail you the disc.
Sounds good. Then after Shazam, after a 2-year delay, everybody I know is probably really excited to watch this John Wick Chapter 4.
I've never seen any of the John Wicks. I'm going to be the first to admit it. Never seen them.
I know a bunch of people I work with at Wegmans who love John Wick and say Keanu Reeves does a phenomenal job with it. So
it's got Lawrence Fishburne in it as well, which is really cool because he's from The Matrix as well. So
yeah. And then the next one is a movie that you had mentioned, is the Dungeons and Dragons movie. So
I've never been into Dungeons and Dragons, but the trailer of this makes it seem really, really interesting. And I really enjoy the fantasy type movies. So this one's on my, it's going to be on my streaming list, honestly, but it's on my like top when it comes out. I'm going to try to watch it right away once it hits stream. Yeah, but it looks like it's got an all-star cast. You got Chris Pine, Hugh Grant, Michelle Rodriguez, just phenomenal. So you know it's going to be good.
Yep. Then you touch base on the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I'm up in arms about. I'm not gonna lie. Just because they tried to make a Super Mario movie back in the early '90s with John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, and it flopped really bad.
That movie is fun though.
Oh, it's a great movie. I've been dying to buy it on DVD.
I have the DVD. Like it's great. Like the Goom. I love how they protect the Goombas more as like a dinosaur type character rather than like the itty bitty creature we see on the Mario games. But it's gonna be interesting what kind of take they go in this one. Like, what are they gonna stick to the damsel in distress story? Are they gonna try to wrap around like a different idea for the movie?
Mm-hmm. Well, all I can say is you'll never replace Dennis Hopper as King Koopa. After that, we have Evil Dead Rise, which is a 5th movie of the Evil Dead franchise. Again, horror suspense. This was actually originally supposed to be released on HBO Max, but they pulled it back and then decided to throw it in the movie theater anyway. What's up, Trey? Thanks for popping in.
Trey, good to see you. Yeah, I'm curious why they decided to, instead of releasing it on HBO Max, to put it out in the theater. You think cash grab here, or?
I think that's exactly what it is. It's a cash grab. They figure they can have a bigger audience. I guarantee you, a movie like this will be in theaters maybe a week or two, and then jump right over to a streaming service, like almost simultaneously.
Do you think that this will be pretty successful in those 2 to 3 weeks that it's in the theaters, or you think it's just going to be people are just going to wait to see it when it hits HBO?
I think people will wait to see it. I don't see it doing that well in theaters. But if you're an Evil Dead lover, then you're excited to go see it in the theaters, obviously. It depends on what kind of thing you're into, but I don't think it does much success.
And then the next one, I've heard rumors. I don't know if it's true or not, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I just read this morning that they're in talks of this being the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which kind of makes sense because it seems like with Marvel movies, they're ending the franchises because you've got Captain America who quit, you've got Robert Downey Jr. who quit. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense. Like, let's wrap up that universe and maybe, let's follow Ant-Man or, Black Panther with Wakanda and, the ones that weren't as involved in the Marvel Avengers universe.
Mm-hmm. Trey says Batista's last movie is Drax, so I think so.
Yeah, that I saw that as well. So I'm curious if the rumors are true that this is going to be the last one.
Thank God they are ending the. Wow, Morgan's actually happy to ending it. Interesting.
Yeah, Maria, I can actually see where you're coming from with that. There is too many, but that's why I kind of like with Ant-Man and stuff, like they're not following the Avengers story and they're doing their own, which makes it fun and unique. So I'm pretty intrigued if they're actually going to end like the Marvel Adventures era, or if they're trying to wrap up on like Marvel as a whole, like that universe.
Mm-hmm. And Kelsey's disagreeing that a lot of people are now waiting for movies to hit streaming services because you can watch it at your luxury compared to spending $14, $15 a movie ticket to go see it in the movie theater. So it's it's a movie theaters are dying. I think another 5-10 years, you might see a lot of movie theaters like completely shut down if you haven't already. So, and then Trey's saying the same thing about the Wonka trailer.
Yeah, we it's like you popped in a little too late, Trey. We voiced our thoughts on that Wonka movie. Morgan's actually really, really excited about it. Kelsey's interested and intrigued. I'm kind of iffy. Like I'm on the fence there, but like I'm gonna keep an open mind. Oh, don't be sorry. No need to be sorry. That we're here for you guys. So anything like you're seeing coming out in 2023 that you're interested in or excited about, let us know. Like even if we've already talked about it, who cares?
Yeah. That might be interesting. A movie based off the musical Wicked.
I did hear that that they're making a movie, and I love Wicked, so I'm hoping that they can do the movie justice.
But we shall see. There you go.
And then Trey said Marvel's going to the next phase with the new heroes and stuff. Yes, like I'm really excited to see like their new set of heroes, and it like Morgan said, like she likes that they're moving on with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then the Avengers she felt was just dragged on too much. And I definitely agree there. I feel like with the Avengers they could have ended it a lot sooner than they did, because like if you think about it, you have to watch like 20 or so movies just to get one storyline, and it kind of gets a little daunting because you're like, why do you have to watch Thor, then Iron Man 1, then you go to this movie, and then you have to move to this movie? Like just make it all one, like Avengers 1, Avengers 2, Avengers 3, done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then when I heard about the Willy Wonka movie from John, I was irritated. I was like, not another, at least make history, and that's exactly what it is. Okay. And then she's like, Wicked, with a heart. I'd be so excited about the Wicked movie. I love Wicked 2. I'll own it. I have a Wicked tattoo. And I don't doubt that. My cousin is obsessed with that. If I can count, Kelsey, correct me if I'm wrong, she's seen Wicked on Broadway and on theater 15 times now. So I saw it once with her, and I will admit it was a very good Broadway show.
I haven't seen it yet on Broadway, but my mom and her partner are super into like the Wizard of Oz universe and Wicked, and it's one of theirs, like they have to go see it on Broadway whenever they get the chance to.
If you ever have a chance, I definitely recommend it.
And it's a really good soundtrack too.
Yes. Never seen Wicked, not my cup of tea. Trey, if you like the Wizard of Oz, it's the story before the Oz. So it's definitely something worth checking out.
Yes, they need to cast Idina Menzel 100%.
So after Guardians of the Galaxy, I had touched base on Fast 10 already. So I like the Wiz with MJ. Oh, he's talking basketball. Okay.
And then after Fast 10 was The Little Mermaid, which we kind of went over.
And the next one's kind of weird. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but this looks like an animated movie.
So, have you seen the first one?
Are we talking Andrew Garfield?
No, the animated Spider-Man.
No, why not?
It's really good. It is really good. The Wiz with Michael Jackson is actually really good.
Oh, I've never seen it. I might have to look it up now. Where's my notepad? Add it to my list. But
Yeah, so Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the first movie, and if you really like the story of Spider-Man, I think you'll like it. It's the same story, different take, and I don't know if with it being animated, it just made it more enjoyable, but the story was really good. Um, like for an animated like remake of a movie, this one had to have been like one of my favorites. So I'm actually really looking forward to Across the Spider-Verse and just watching the trailers. I am really excited for the story. I want to see it all play out, and really excited for Gwen Stacy's character and her take. And like, it's just, my kids like the animated Spider-Man series on Disney Junior, so that's one that we're gonna have to go see in the theater with the kids, even if they don't really like it. Like, it's just one we're gonna have to go see.
don't worry about the YouTube thing. I don't know how to get rid of it.
No worries.
But
Yeah, Trey, it's gonna be a really good movie.
I'm definitely intrigued because I am a big Spider-Man fan, so I guess I got some homework to do.
I want to say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is on Disney Plus.
Okay. Definitely see if I can find it. And then after Spider-Man the following weekend, I don't know why, but they have a new Transformers movie coming out.
Again, this is one of those, the franchise has just dragged on too much. They should have ended it after like the second one. Yeah,
Whoa,
preach,
whoa.
Trey, preach.
Wow. I'm getting called out on my own show yet again. You know what? I'll just let Andrew about it. I'll just stay here and look quick. But no, I don't understand why they're going on with these Transformers movies. The first three were great. And after you get rid of Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, they should have stopped. Mark Wahlberg in Transformers 4 was absolutely horrible.
I mean, I really like Mark Wahlberg, but I agree. I only saw the first 4 Transformers, and then I lost interest. I'm like, I don't know why they feel the need that they need to make another one.
Again, I don't know if it's Michael Bay or not, but I feel bad if it is because he's just going for money at this.
Campbell Jr.
See, so it's not even a Michael Bay film anymore. Like, that's when they were actually really good.
The same director of Creed.
Not interested. Next.
The next doesn't have a title, but it will be based on The Flash. So,
yeah. Well, I think that's the title of Flash.
Oh, that would make sense. Ezra Miller, I'm curious on his take on The Flash. I liked the TV series. I only watched a few seasons of it because I felt like it just kept dragging on and on and on. But The Flash is probably one of my more favorite in the DC universe. So I'm pretty curious to see this one, but I think I will wait for this one to come out on stream. I'm not like super excited to go run to the theaters to see this one. I mean, I really do like The Flash, but hey, Gary, good to see you.
What's up, Gary? Thanks for popping in. But see, now I've heard mixed things about The Flash because I heard that they were going to release it, but then a movie recently flopped really bad. That now they were having second thoughts on releasing The Flash. So I heard it was going to keep it in the Silverton, call it a day, like never release it. The only reason I'm intrigued about this because if you read a little bit more, they have Michael Keaton portraying Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that all plays out. So
yeah, and it seems like it follows the Flashpoint comic, which you can't really see my books in the back, but we have the really big Flashpoint copy. So I'm sure my husband's going to be really excited for that.
And Trey nailed it on the head. That's why I'm hyped about the Flash, is to see Michael Keaton's Batman shows up in it. Michael Keaton was like all-time top 2 Batmans I've ever put on the suit. So 2025 when he gets back in the Beetlejuice too. Can't wait.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Next, Indiana Jones. Do you think that this is going to be the last Indiana Jones? I mean, Harrison Ford is getting up there in age.
I would think they got to wrap it up sooner or later. I am happy to see that Harrison Ford is in this, because if you're going to do an Indiana Jones movie, you kind of have to involve him.
I am curious why they waited 14 years to make a third one, or whatever number we're on, to make
4 or
this one.
5.
Like, I'm really curious what the thought process, like, was it Harrison Ford's idea? Was it the director's? Like,
I honestly feel like a lot of these movies that you're seeing come out so many years later are just people looking for, like you said, the money grab aspect of it.
well, and it's not a Steven Spielberg film, so that's also really interesting.
Yes.
Which is probably why they're making it, because I wonder if Steven Spielberg is like, I'm not doing another Indiana Jones movie.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Harrison Ford's like, we got to wrap up the story. Let's make another one.
Well, a lot of these directors nowadays, a lot of people getting older in Hollywood. Like, you haven't really seen that changeover yet from the older generation to the new generation.
Right.
You're starting to see it a little bit, but a lot of these older directors are just tired of doing the same scripts over and over and over. That's why, like, John Carpenter came out and said, Halloween Ends is the last movie I'm ever going to have a say in. I don't want to do any more Halloween movies. You guys can wait till I'm dead, but I'm not releasing the script ever again. But if you ask me, they left a little bit of a cliffhanger in Halloween Ends, but we won't talk about that. But it's just these directors, they're not directing these movies anymore because they're tired of doing the same movies that they're
Yeah, and I actually remember back when they did midnight releases of movies, the Crystal Skull was one that I saw at a midnight release because I really loved Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, like, if they're going to end the story of Indiana Jones, or if they're going to leave that opening of an option of, well, if Harrison Ford doesn't want to continue, would another cast member want to, type thing.
I forget. I think it was Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark or something. It was 1 or 2. Harrison Ford and Sean Connery as his father was an absolutely awesome duo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was number 1 or number 2. I could watch that movie nonstop. Me and my uncle used to laugh hysterically. Because Sean Connery played his father in one of those movies, and it was great.
Well, have a great night, Kelsey. It was great having you on for as long as you could. Appreciate you stopping in. I'll be back on next Friday as long as life doesn't happen.
Yeah,
and I say life because, like, I tell John that I'll be here, and then last minute something happens. It seems to never fail with life.
It happens, but Kelsey, I appreciate you popping in at least for a little bit. You're always a big fan of the show, and I appreciate it. So, and that goes for anybody. If you just pop in, say hello, and then look in the chat or just listen, like, it means a lot. It means that you're taking your time out of your day to help us out.
Even if you just log on just to lurk, or just to pop in to give us a view here and there, like, that's what we appreciate. Like, we really don't care if you don't want to come in the comments and chat. Just you guys being here, watching, and hanging out is all that matters.
It's been so fun to listen and always hear.
I'm sorry if I'm looking.
That's why I give you the whole every single time.
This is over here, so sorry. I'm not like not wanting to look at the camera. I'm just trying to make sure I'm caught up on, like, where we're at.
Gotcha. That's me sandbagger. Hey, you can be sandbagging all you want, kid. You're hanging out in chat. We appreciate it. So,
the next movie, another franchise I feel that has just been dragged on way too long. Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Now, I love Mission Impossible. However, I think I stopped watching after the 5th one because it gets too much. Like, I think Mission Impossible 3 was probably where I'm like, you could have ended it here and still had a really successful trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are coming into number 7, and then number 8's coming out next year. Like, why?
Tom Cruise, he won't give it up.
Now, I will say my respect for Tom Cruise went down tremendously this last year after hearing how he treated his cast and crew of Top Gun Maverick. So I don't, my respect for him went way down though. Like, I thought it was really cool. Like, I had a lot of respect for him. He does a lot of his own stunts. He flies his own jets. But after hearing the way that he treats cast and crew, I'm like, I could care less about him now.
I didn't hear that. I will admit I have yet to see Top Gun Maverick. So.
I haven't watched it yet. That's when me and my husband probably will watch this weekend. But I've heard good things about it. I know it came out in 2022, but it's one like that was the most anticipated movie of the year.
Well, they put out a lot of money for that movie to begin with.
But yeah, it's just after hearing like or reading about how horrible he was to his cast and crew, I'm like, I could care less about him now. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, I was really looking forward to watching Top Gun Maverick, and then I'm like, you know what? Now I'm just like, why bother giving him that viewership?
Yeah. So Morgan says Top Gun Maverick was amazing and was probably better than the first.
I'm excited to see it. I think we're gonna take some time and watch it if we don't get done too late tonight. Either watch it tonight or tomorrow night. We were gonna go sledding tomorrow. Okay, we're going off on a tangent here, guys. Sorry, but it rained all day today, and now the snow's all gone. So now we can't go sledding.
Oh no!
The kids are really sad because, like, we got 1.5 feet of snow last week, and we were the only part in the town that got snow. So we're like, yeah, we're gonna go sledding this weekend. Like, it's gonna be great. And it rained today, and now the snow's gone. So we'll watch Top Gun instead.
Sledding in the mud. Sucks the actor horrible person out the cast, so.
Yeah, for sure, Morgan. So back to Mission Impossible. I'm really interested. I don't know. I want to say I'm interested because I'm really not interested, but like, what's their storyline at this point anymore?
I haven't watched one since number 1, so I can't even tell you chapter 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, I want to say I stopped watching after 4. It could have been after 3. And I'm just, yeah, I don't know. My mic is really loud in background, and I don't know why. Like, I wish there was like a background suppression on this mic, but it's a cheap mic, so sorry guys if my kids keep coming on in the background too. I apologize. They're hyper tonight, so you might see them.
It's Friday night. We expect that. It's okay.
And then the next movie we touched base about because it made both of our top 3, Oppenheimer.
Yep.
I don't know if I've seen a movie with Cillian Murphy. I mean, I might have, and the name's just not sticking with me.
Can I give you 2 examples?
Yeah, of course.
The Dark Knight as Scarecrow.
Okay.
And then he also plays in Time as the Timekeeper.
I haven't seen In Time, but I have seen The Dark Knight. Okay, so I kind of thought, like, looking at the trailer picture that they have on Rotten Tomatoes, is like his face kind of looks familiar, but I didn't recognize the name.
Okay, and then another suspense movie. Do you watch suspense movies?
I sometimes.
You ever heard of a movie called Red Eye?
Mm-hmm.
With Rachel McAdams?
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Okay, he's the other one. He's the like psychopath in that movie.
Okay.
He's actually a really good actor, so. And I'm sure if there's other people in chat that know him, they could pull up probably a couple more movies he's in. So
I'm really excited to see how this one handles the box office. I have high hopes that it's going to be one of the top movies this year, but part of me is also like, well, there are also other really big name films coming out that it might not make top. You know, people are probably like, oh, it's going to be one of those boring movies, but I think like just the cast alone is worth seeing. You've got Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Rami Malek, you know, Emily Blunt, like just a really good cast, and then the story of in and of itself is just interesting. Like, who doesn't want to go see a movie about how the atomic bomb came?
Yeah. Well, fast forward 1 year, January 5th, 2024, we'll be back again for another Friday night movie night, and we can go over what bombed and what succeeded in 2023 if you want to do it that way. 1 year from today.
Oh, you gave me a good idea for next week's show.
Okay.
Let's do that for 2022 movies.
Okay.
Look
There
at
you go.
that. There we go. We've already got next week's show planned.
Yeah, there you go. If you're still in the chat, you know what we're talking about next week.
All right, you want to go into the next one?
Well, I don't know how I skipped it, but the next one that also came out the same day as Oppenheimer is one that Andrew was making fun of me before the show. It's a movie called Barbie. I guess this is gonna be a real life action movie about Barbie. The only reason that I'm intrigued is because Margaret Robbie's in it as Barbie, and Ryan Gosling is playing Ken. I probably won't see it. I'm not saying I'm saying it, but I'm just
John's gonna be first in line, guys. Like, don't let him fool you. He's gonna be the first in line.
I'm intrigued. Okay.
I am curious what the storyline's gonna be on this. Like, did they make up their own story? It's just gonna be something silly, stupid.
No, they have to, if they do a real action movie. I'm sorry, but you have to bring back the old 1990s song, and you know exactly where I'm going with this. By the band called Aqua.
I'm a Barbie girl.
Now, you gotta have that as your theme song for this movie. I'm sorry, you have to.
And if not, like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, at least we can agree on that. Okay.
Next is The Marvels. I wasn't too into Captain Marvel, and I know this is like it involves Captain Marvel. Again, it's another Marvel superhero movie, so I don't know where this one sits on my, like, am I excited or am I just like not another Marvel movie kind of thing? So I'm kind of curious.
It's definitely intriguing. Again, and a lot of these movies are intriguing to see the aspect of them behind, like, the whole thought process of it.
And then I don't know if this is the name of the movie, but we have a Leo DiCaprio movie featuring the 32nd president of the United States, Roosevelt.
Interesting.
I'm wondering if this will be the movie that, like, Leo wins all the awards for. You know, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's had some really, really good movies. I hate that he doesn't get the recognition that he so thoroughly deserves. But I'm wondering with this one, I mean, there's not a lot based on it, but
who's directing it? Does it say?
Martin Scorsese.
Ooh, he did another movie about a president recently. What was it? I know Oliver Stone did JFK and Nixon, but Michael, the one that you just mentioned, I can't pronounce his name, did another movie on a president. What movie was that? He's actually a really good director. So I am very, like you. Does Leo finally get the credit he deserves for a high class role in a movie like this? Because Nixon, JFK, they all did phenomenal. And they all won a bunch of awards.
So is this going to be his calling? I mean, it does say that they don't really know too much about this film other than that it is planned to come out in July. So I am kind of curious, like, is this going to be the movie that is as successful as, say, JFK?
Yeah, we will. I guess we have to wait and see. Now, the next three I have on my list based off Rotten Tomatoes are all horror movies, so I won't go into detail about them. But the next one would be The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I've never seen any of the Hunger Games movies, but I've heard really good things about them.
I haven't read this book yet, so I'm not quite familiar with the storyline of it. But this is one that I'm actually looking forward to seeing because I loved the Hunger Games trilogy and I love the books. and I think that's the reason why I haven't picked this book up to read yet. It was because I really loved the Hunger Games and I didn't want it. I didn't know enough about it to be like, oh, it's not going to affect the way that I see the Hunger Games. It's not going to affect my feelings of it. But I've just been kind of hesitant. But now that they're making a movie, I'm kind of curious to give the show or the book a shot and read it to see if I'm going to be interested in the movie at all.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though. The first two Hunger Game movies had Jennifer Lawrence in them, correct?
All three of them did, yeah.
She's not in this one.
No, this is I want to say this is years before the events of the original series. So she was probably just a kid.
Okay, so it's just interesting though to see some of these movies that are being made that are being released like before their time.
That's really sweet, Morgan.
It's just weird to see that they're making these movies, but some of the original cast is not in them. So
yeah, so reading the synopsis of this one, it follows Cornelius Snow, who is the Hunger Games like director. So it follows his life as he's a kid. So
okay.
So yeah, so I don't know. Like I don't know if it's going to be as action packed and fun like the Hunger Games was, or if it's going to be more like relaxed and chill.
Because a series I liked that wasn't like I wouldn't say it was like the Hunger Games, but another trilogy that was released off of books. I thoroughly enjoyed the Maze Runner.
That one was really good too. I'm kind of sad that they didn't continue the series.
I mean, they did Maze Runner, Scorched Trails, and then Death Cure. There could have been one more. It was a movie called. It could have been what was it? Fever Code. That was the fourth and final one. But I think after Death Cure, they said, okay, we're not going to try to draw these out because a lot of people were criticizing how they got away from the books a little bit. Just like anything that tied in with a book, it got criticism for not following exactly on the book. But
see, and I thought the first one followed the book pretty good.
Oh, I agree.
It's interesting that they strayed away too much from the book. I mean, I think I've only seen the first one, and I really liked it because I'm like, this actually follows the book really well.
Well, I would recommend seeing Scorched Trails and Death Cure. They were both really good movies. I saw all the three movies. I saw all three in the movie theater, and I have the whole series on collection on my movie. So,
a movie. Here's another movie that was made specifically for HBO Max that they decided to release in theaters. It's called Blue Beetle, and it's another superhero flick based on the DC world. I don't know anything about the Blue Beetle, so I have nothing to say about this movie.
I didn't write it down because I don't know how to even talk about it.
Yeah, there's not much to release. I'm not familiar with the story. Obviously it's a money grab because it was meant to just go straight to HBO, and the fact that they're deciding to release it in theaters is really curious. I don't know. To me, I just feel like comparing like DC to Marvel, the DC movies just aren't as good as the Marvels.
And I would agree with that, but I think they're trying to maybe turn the tables a little bit and have DC be more competitive because they see how much the Marvel movies have taken off. They're trying to make DC better in some way for it. They have a long way to go, but I give them credit for at least trying and not just, okay, we give up. Now, the other two I have on my list as we talk about Wonka with release dates is there's supposedly a second Ghostbusters Afterlife coming out, which I haven't seen the first one yet, but I heard it was really, really good. That's coming out late December next year. And then Aquaman, the sequel, is coming out on Christmas Day next year. And yes, from what I read, Amanda Heard will be in that movie.
Yeah, because wasn't she? Because I want to say it's like post-production already, but they fired her. But I think her part was already done, so like they could fire her all they wanted, but her role was already completed.
Yes, that's what I heard too. But so those are the last two movies on Rotten Tomatoes that have dates for when they're being released, and it's December 20th and then Christmas Day.
Um, I'm just looking at one. It's called The Color Purple, and it's going to be a musical. I have no idea what that's going to be about. All it says is that it's going to be a musical.
Well, if my cousin Kelsey was still in the chat, she'd probably be able to correct us. So,
So
Kelsey,
I'm
if you go back and rewatch this, drop in comments what the color purple is supposed to go about.
I like musicals, so that one is kind of intriguing, but I don't know if I don't know if I want to, like I just don't know anything about it other than like it's going to be a musical.
Makes sense.
And then I saw they're making another Quiet Place, like a spinoff.
Yes, I did see that also. I didn't want to drag everybody out with all the horror movies, but that one's coming out in September.
Oh, and then there's a movie coming out in October called Craven the Hunter.
So that too, I didn't write that down.
And it's supposed to be set in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man franchise.
Huh.
So that'll be interesting. Like, is it gonna be a Spider-Man movie, or is it gonna be like just in that universe?
I don't know. I guess I have to see on that one.
And then, as you said, the like 3 horror movies. But yeah, that wraps up the Rotten Tomatoes top 35 anticipated movies.
Well, if you scroll down a little bit, since you're still on the website, there's 2 movies that are on there that don't have release dates.
Mm-hmm.
Legally Blonde 3.
Which I loved the first and second one. So why they felt they needed to make a third, that's another one of those. They should have just cut the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But it is good to see Reese Witherspoon back in her role. At least they didn't replace her role.
I mean, and I liked Legally Blonde. I thought it was fun. I really liked the story. So part of me is open to be excited for this, but part of me is like, why?
And under that, they have a movie called The Nightingale that actually intrigued me a little bit, reading that little snippet about it.
It's based off of a novel. I wonder what novel. I mean, obviously The Nightingale, but like I don't know who wrote it.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. So now you said,
but that does sound interesting. Where it's set in the Nazi era.
Yeah. Or any movie that deals back in that time period, I think always has been very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like Valkyrie back in the day with Tom Cruise. Yes, Gary, I know your favorite movie. Gary's favorite horror series is the Saw movies. I every time I see him at work, he'll walk up to me, "Hey, you want to play a game?" Like, but
let's see.
I think that was it for Rotten Tomatoes, though, pretty much.
So hopping over to the IMDb. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that catches my eye.
Movie releases. I'm seeing if I can find a list too, real quick. Hold on.
Oh, I sent you a list.
I know.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Yes.
There's not a lot to say about this one yet because I don't know if they want to release too much into it, other than that it's going to be a CG film, obviously. It's expected to come out in August, which is weird that like they don't have a lot going on with it, like a little synopsis or anything about it with it coming out. But it's going to have Seth Rogen and Shaman Brown Jr. are like the only 2 cast members that it lists right now. But I enjoyed Ninja Turtles, and I'm wondering if they're gonna. I know like they redid the Ninja Turtle movies not too terribly long ago, so I'm curious what storyline is going to follow.
I'm curious too because Michael Bay did the ones you're talking about. Michael Bay did 1 and 2, and since they 2 flopped horribly, they canned the 3rd one because there's supposed to be a 3rd one that Michael Bay did. But since the first 2 didn't live up to expectations, he wound up saying, "I'm not doing the third one."
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if it's gonna be like a remake of the story. So are we gonna get the toxic waste backstory again? How these turtles get raised by the rat, or is it gonna be like its completely own story?
William says Chase is gonna love the TMT movie. I hope so. Chase is our friend Julie's son, so
Okay.
he, like me, is a big Ninja Turtles fan. But I'm not really. I'd have to look more into it to see if it's actually worth seeing.
And then one you'll probably never expect me to say that I actually might go see. It's a horror movie, but it's classified as comedy fantasy horror. Renfield. And the little snippet says it's Dracula's henchman and inmate at the lunatic asylum, and it's got Nick Cage. So, and been seeing this pop up on my Facebook all day today, just ads about it, and Nick Cage as the vampire just looks absolutely hilarious. So this will probably be one that I probably won't go see it in the theaters because like me and horror don't do very well, but I am really excited to actually see this like with my husband at home.
Now I'm looking at that same list you have up. If you go back up to number 9, I just want to know why. Why do they feel they have to make another Expendables movie?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something about that. Like again, another franchise. I mean, granted, it's only number 4, but that's another. It's drawn out way too long.
Like the first one, it wasn't even that good. Everyone criticized me when I said that, but like, I didn't like the first one. I didn't bother seeing the second or third one. But like this one has Jason Statham, 50 Cent, Megan Fox. Like they're getting away from the whole aspect of like who was in the original. It's like that's not necessary. Then you have Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. We had
Which I think that one isn't that one already out though. So technically, it's a 2022 film, or did that one not come out yet?
So they might have pushed it back to 2023.
One on the next page, number 54. I'm actually impressed that this one didn't make the top 35 anticipated. It's a Disney animated Elemental. Usually Disney animated movies make like the top list. So I'm kind of curious why this one wasn't in their top. But this one is about the elements. And we watched a trailer about it, and it actually looks like it's going to be a really good story. And here's another franchise. Like, why did they make a third or a second Chicken Run? Chicken Run: Dawn of the Nugget.
Dawn of the Nugget. Gary said he just saw Avatar. Gary, if you want to drop in chat how you felt about it, let us know. I mean, I had mixed feelings about wanting to see the second one. I know some people who saw it already and liked it. Some people didn't like it. So let us know what you thought about the second Avatar.
I'm also curious about the Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. And I can't say that name correctly, and I'm sorry for all the Lord of the Rings fans. But this one, I heard the Amazon series Ring of Power or whatever wasn't very good. But I kind of want to see it because I love the Lord of the Rings. So I think this one's going to be one that me and my husband go and see.
Morgan says Chicken Run was horrific. I hate that movie.
My kids love it for some reason. It wasn't one of my favorites, but my kids love that one. So we'll probably go see that in the theaters with the kids.
Well, when you have kids, it's a different story compared to when you're a 35-year-old person wanting to see it by yourself. So, and then she says she can't wait for Avatar 2. And Gary says the movie was awesome. So, you have a good person with Morgan Freeman. He's always good in movies.
I was thinking number 75, Reba McEntire's The Hammer.
What?
It's a horror movie, like a thriller horror. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he saw it in 3D too. That's pretty cool.
Oh,
and
wow.
We got Miss Shannon in the chat. Hello, Shannon. Thanks for popping in tonight.
Oh, here you go. Here's one for the kids. Trolls 3.
I
wonder what their story behind this one's going to be. I liked the second one better than the first one, but they should have just been done with it.
Now, again, 2 more horror movies: Insidious 5. Again, why? And then Gary's favorite franchise, Saw 10, is coming out this year, apparently. Gary, I know you'll be first in line to see that movie. But, okay, we can't do the 3D. I mean, 3D movies are a lot different than the actual regular version. I've seen some movies in 3D. They do trip you a little bit. I saw A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey in 3D. No, I was kind of tripping afterwards. I'm not going to lie. But if I watch it, I'll get sick. Kevin almost freaked during the ride in Disney. It was too much. I mean, 3D is not for everybody. I don't know if Andrew likes 3D movies or not, but
yeah, but I don't go to a lot of them. Here's one that I think is interesting: Spider-Man Lotus. You have a different actor playing Spider-Man. So, is this going to be a new Spider-Man story? Like, don't get me wrong, I like Spider-Man, but how many times can they retell the same story?
interesting. Pope's Exorcist, number 95. Especially tell you the story about a priest who's performed over 100 exorcisms, and Russell Crowe's in it. That's the only reason that's interesting is seeing Russell Crowe in the movie.
Number 99, Untitled Shrek Reboot. Plot unknown, a reboot of the epic animated Shrek franchise.
Now,
that is interesting.
Now, can you imagine a real live action Shrek movie?
That's where my thoughts are with this one. Is it going to be, well, I guess it does actually say it's animation, but why do they feel like they need to reboot it? Shrek is great as is.
Money grab, like you always say?
Yeah.
What else we got? Paw Patrol movie coming out too. Can't forget that one.
We will go see that. The kids actually really enjoyed the last one.
Okay. Tyler Perry's in this one.
My daughter's looking forward to Ladybug and Cat Noir. That's actually a really cute TV show.
Sorry, we're reading off the list. It's kind of hard to multitask.
Yeah, like we're really not like trying to look away from you guys. My list is on this side. John's list is like down below him.
I'm on my phone, so maybe if I do it like this, I can keep my eye on everything. But then I block the chat. So, we have a ghost.
Number 122. I know Mike would appreciate the Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Yep, Mike, if you're watching it during the chat, you got another Star Wars movie, buddy.
Centers on the Rebel Alliance Starfighter Squadron from the Star Wars films, and the plot is kept under wraps so they don't spoil anything. And I respect that. Like, you want to release a really good movie, then don't spoil the plot.
Try to pronounce number 130 if you can. I'll give you credit.
Number 130?
Damn it, Paw Patrol theme song stuck in my head now. Morgan's man, we got the Paw Patrol theme song in our head.
Issika by Issika Han. 3 brothers where 2 younger siblings must wait to marry until their elder brother becomes attached.
And you come up with a title like that.
All right.
Sorry, I just thought it was interesting. Legion of Superheroes. The Magnificent Raiders of Dimension. Cat Person? Like, what are these?
Number 146, we get a movie all about Bob Ross.
Matt Nixon, if you're watching in the chat, buddy, you're going to be famous. What else we got? Fast Charlie. What else we have?
Number 163. Just the title of it. I mean, it's cool that it's a biography, but number 163.
Now that, as I said, like you said, the title's funny.
The title's funny, but it sounds interesting. It's The Making of Ballet.
You can
and
say
I would read the title, but my children are in the background, so I would rather not.
So you don't want to?
No, yeah, I've got headphones on, so you can read it.
The title she's talking about is called "Fuck Them All: The Story of Heaven and Hell: The Making of a Ballet." Very, very interesting Vogue chat. I would donate a quarter for that one, but that is bizarre. Cuttery.
Number 170, Crystal Lake. You think that's like, is it Jason? Who is the Count Crystal Lake?
You are correct.
Wondering if that's going to be their take.
Maybe. Number 176, The Stalking Fields. I've heard something about that one too.
Oh, one movie that we're actually really looking forward to this year. Stephen King's Salem's Lot.
Yes, I haven't seen that on here.
I haven't seen it on the list either, but I know it's I want to say June. But that one we're looking forward to.
184, another Superman movie.
I actually was just gonna say that. Yeah,
Another-
Superman Solar. During his second year as Superman, he goes on an emotional journey where he faces his greatest challenge, and overcoming it will take more than any Kryptonian power he possesses.
Interesting.
Okay, I pronounced that last one. You pronounce 186.
Gotta go. Oh, good. I don't know. It's about Mahatma. Oh, Gandhi. It's a Gandhi movie. Interesting. What else do we have? Tiger 3.
Oh, another live action Aladdin. Aladdin live from the West End.
Now, I heard now correct me if I'm wrong, with the first live action Aladdin, besides for some positive reviews, actually didn't do that well. Correct.
You know, I liked it. I can see why people didn't, but I liked it. But Aladdin is like my all-time favorite Disney movie, I think.
207, American Cherry. It doesn't say much. Set in middle of America, a small town, low income suburbia. Okay. About the Cincinnati Spin, the Tomorrow Job. Like, none of these seem interesting.
And that's probably why they're like, they didn't make any list but this one. Like, most of them just kind of seem like, I'm wondering though, I mean, it's on IMDb, but I'm wondering if a lot of these are just going to go straight to Netflix or Hulu or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball Super, the fan film.
Now,
that one might be good.
The one that just caught my eye was 223, the Bricklayer. Aaron Eckhart is an awesome actor. If you watch the Dark Knight movie, he plays a really good Harvey Dent Two-Face. That's the only reason I looked at that movie, because I saw that name first on the list.
243, another Spider-Man with a different actor. So again, how many times are we going to tell the same story?
Yeah.
In the same year, nonetheless. Ooh, number 249. This one actually sounds really interesting. Return of the Dark. Wizards try to defeat enemies from another world.
What one I was just looking at? No, never mind. I was going to say 244, the Prom Pack, but then we didn't know. Never mind. I'll leave that one. I'll leave that one alone. What else we got?
What's this one?
266 looks pretty interesting. Three Musketeers movie.
Yeah, I see that. That does look. It's got
Michael Higgs.
Yeah, that was like one. Yeah, joined by an eager recruit to protect the King of France, three loyal swordsmen attempt to defeat an evil royal advisor and a seductive envoy plotting to overthrow the crown. Like, that sounds like it's going to be a solid storyline.
Now, there's one for you. Look at 277. I'm not going to say a word about it till you look at it.
Why? Why Toy Story 2 and not Toy Story 1?
Right? A live
action Toy Story 2.
Like a lot of these still say filming though, so like you don't know if they're in the process of filming or what, but like it's just weird. In case you guys are just joining in the chat, we're looking over a list on imdb.com of what you said 2,400 different movies that are supposed to be released in 2023. We already touched on a bunch of movies that we want to see and stuff like that, but now we're just going over a list. So
now we're just shouting out movies that catch our eyes, like 290, 1984. I loved that book. So that will be really interesting to see as a film.
Right under that, 292, Robot Chicken. And Chris Pine's in it too.
Huh. He's in a lot of movies this year, I've noticed.
Yeah. So if you're hanging out in chat, if there's any movies that you're eager to see, let us know. If not, I hope you guys are enjoying us listing random movies.
311.
311, we have Friday the 13th Awakening. Ooh. Who's in this though? Brittany Branton, Morgan Thompson. No one I've ever heard of. And it's already it's a pre-production, so that kind of scares me that it might get canned. Because there's supposedly a lot of horror movies coming out this year.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I'm like, because you normally don't hear about a lot of horror movies coming out until like closer to Halloween. But there's been an impressive lineup on just horror in 2023 as a whole. I mean, 339, Five Nights at Freddy's.
I was gonna say 328. I don't know if you saw that title, Mistletoe Massacre.
I did see that.
Well, at least on Christmas Eve, Mistletoe Massacre.
And if it's not released on Christmas Eve, then they gotta rename it.
Yep. What one did you say?
The Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, I haven't made that one. No, that's correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like an animated video game, correct?
I think so.
Look at that. Like, how do you make something like that into a movie?
Oh, jump over to 357. That will be one. Nope, that's a big nope.
Camp Blood 666, Part 2, Exorcism of a Clown.
I don't do clowns.
Yes, it's a game. Thank you, Morgan, for the clarification. I've heard of it. I've never tried the game. I know a bunch of people I know who have played the game, so. Great American Action Hero. Interesting. But again, like looking at some of these movies that are coming out, like the cast, I haven't heard of any one of these people that are in this movie.
Is this the year that we see the new generation of actors and actresses?
Lily is obsessed with Friday Night. Okay, well, Lily will have to explain to me what Friday Night at Freddy's is all about. So, the Christmas spirit.
435. She's called
wow.
Bambi.
You're about 5 pages ahead of me.
Oh yeah, I like none of the ones before that like they looked interesting. I feel like we're getting more into like the indie films that probably, like I mentioned earlier, will probably not make it to
Snake in a Plane. What's your opinion? Horrible.
I've never seen it.
It's an
Doesn't
old.
seem interesting.
Unless I'm thinking of a different movie, it has Samuel L. Jackson. It came out a couple years ago, and it was cheesy at best. Just like when they try to make that whole Soul Plane movie with like Bernie Mac and all them back in the day.
Ugh, Bernie Mac, R.I.P.
Yes, he died way too soon. But like even looking at some of these director names I've never heard of really. Like Anthony Chen, never heard of him.
My
Oh,
sister's serial killer boyfriend.
you're making another Aliens movie? How did I miss that one? Good thing I don't like aliens. I will admit, as a horror fan, Alien scared me for life. And to this day, I would not watch it ever again.
Morgan, since you're still in chat, what's your most anticipated movie of 2023? And Gary, same question as yours for you.
Son of a Preacher? Interesting. The Devil's Footprints? Yeah, if anyone's still in chat listening, feel free to drop movies that you want to see that you come and use. So, yeah. Did you see the title of 453?
453?
Yeah.
Let me go back.
plain dull title, but like, interesting.
Food fight. A battle is about to begin. It's a comedy, so that actually might be interesting. You know who I haven't seen and a lot of the up and coming is Adam Sandler. Like, I think I've seen him on one movie.
Yeah. The Year of the Dog. I heard something about that. That's like a Chinese movie. Emeryville Shark House. What are they called?
What are your thoughts on 2023 like as a box office? Like, I know we talked about it a little bit, how movie theaters are obviously dying. It is getting way too expensive to go to the theaters. More people anticipate movies coming out on the streaming services, but how do you foresee, like, now that we kind of got a feel for the lineup and the movies that are coming out, like, what do you think the box office will look like?
You're gonna have some movies that succeed. Obviously, like your big name movies that we mentioned earlier, Oppenheimer, stuff like that. There's movies out there that people will flood to go see. But other than that, like I continue saying what I said. Movie theaters are a dying breed. There's a few I would say.
Oh, don't apologize, Morgan. You're allowed to be excited for that one.
Yes, we did mention Wicked. My cousin had brought that up, being switched over from a musical to a movie. So
yeah, so going back to like box office, I don't know if we see record numbers in the box office like we have in the past.
No, I think you see a U in the red.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some really good movies coming out this year. Some highly anticipated movies, but I just don't know that we see the record numbers. I know they just announced that Avatar 2 surpassed Top Gun in the box office.
But was that a 2023 release, or was that 2022?
2022.
So that doesn't even count for this year's numbers, really.
Correct.
Okay. But like, just looking at this list again, I wrote down like Ant-Man will probably do very well. John Wick, people love John Wick, that might do well. And then like Guardians of the Galaxy. Movies are freaking expensive. Someone refuses to go because the clientele that go there, grown up my mom and I. Wow.
That's scary, Morgan.
Yeah.
I will admit, like, now, like, when I go to the movies, I have that anxiety of something happening. It's scary now these days and ages. I mean, one, not only is it really, really expensive, but you got to fear for your public safety.
Yeah, I mean, after what happened with The Dark Knight Rises, the random guy just walking up to a guy in the theater in Florida and shooting him, like John Cherry Hill. Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Cherry Hill, yes. Yeah, I mean, I go to the movie theaters by me nowadays. Like, I'm in South Jersey. There's plenty of movie theaters, and I know exactly what theater she's talking about. So it's just scary to go out.
Yeah, like I'm just that person, like, you know, being a mom and everything, like I always freak out. I'm like, why is that guy standing up? why does this guy have a big backpack? Like, I'm like, and then you're like, where are the exits? Like, it sucks that that's how it is anymore. And so I don't know. So for that reason, like, you've got the anxiety, like the people filled with the anxiety like me, where I think we see maybe an increase in streaming memberships, and we see a decrease overall in like movie sales and the box office sales.
Well, like you've seen that from the get-go. Like a lot of stores nowadays won't even have DVDs, Blu-rays, or even 4Ks starting to die out. They won't have physical copies of these movies anymore. A lot of them are just going on the streaming services, and you got to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like me personally, you look over my shoulder, that bookcase is filled. This one right here with nothing but movies. It's 6 shelves full. Because I've always said if I lose internet or can't hook up to my Wi-Fi, at least I can pop in a movie and watch a movie.
Now, with that being said, do you think we see an increase in cost for streaming? I know, like, Netflix announced that they're raising their prices, but do you think, like, as a whole, we start to slowly see it, or you think it's going to be like, well, movies are dying out, we're gonna say have our memberships instead of being $9.99, it's going to be like $20?
I think they level off. Yeah, Morgan's absolutely right.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to see a price level off because inflation's killing a lot of people. Me being a single person living by myself can speak that firsthand. Living, it absolutely sucks. For one person nowadays, where I could get at a grocery store before for, say, $45 to feed just myself, I'm now looking at myself spending $75 for that same stuff.
Yeah, we just did our grocery shopping last weekend, and I remember thinking, I was like, we used to be like, oh, we were almost under $100. Now it's, oh, we were almost under $300. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, a gallon of milk used to be like $1.25. Now it's almost $4 a gallon. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I work in a grocery store. I work in the grocery department.
So you get to see it firsthand.
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, when I worked at Walmart, I helped out in the grocery department a lot, and I remember like doing all the price changes, and I'm like, why? Like, $5 for freaking bottle of ketchup.
Like the same thing that you would see that used to be $2-3 is now doubled in price. And these suppliers, like, not to get off complete topic about movies, but these suppliers are having such hard times getting demand back to where it was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I fully believe that, Morgan, right there. Like, it's horrible.
It's sad. I mean, I struggle and I live by myself, but I get by.
It makes me wonder why it's so expensive to see a movie, because like you can rent newly released movies on Vudu for $20, which is the price of just one movie ticket.
Yeah. No, but I use Vudu a lot, so it's good that you brought that up. You pay $20 to rent a movie that just came out, okay? You divide that by, say, 4 or 5 people, you're looking at $455 a person. So, yes, it's cheaper than going to the actual movie theater, but you only have 24 hours to watch that set movie, and then you lose it. So, say you rent a movie, spend $20 to rent it, but then something comes up that you can't watch that movie. Now you got to spend an additional $20 to rent it again. So now that's where the price is almost like going to a regular movie theater.
Right, yeah. And it's funny you said that, because like we just got our son a game card for Minecraft, and we didn't keep the receipt because we're really bad. We just throw our receipts away. We didn't know you had to keep the receipt to redeem the code. So we're like, guess we got to rebuy this again. So it's kind of in that same sense, like how you were saying, it's gonna level it out.
Yeah, and Shannon, you're absolutely right. It is all about the experience, seeing a movie in a movie theater. But it's so hard to like not have the thought in your mind that like, damn, I just spent $50 here. Now I will actually use that here to take care of this. So yes, the movie experience is still top notch. If you feel safe and find just that right movie to take someone for the first time to see a movie in a theater, definitely an awesome experience. But you also gotta take in consideration now, like, okay, is this really worth what I'm spending on this when I could have done that and see this later at a later date. So,
Right.
and like you brought it up earlier, it's not like many of these movie theaters anymore are doing midnight releases because of what happened years back.
Right.
It always used to be fun to go see a movie.
Oh, absolutely. That was like one of my favorite things in high school. On the weekends that you didn't have to work or go to school, you get off, you get out of school and you head right down to the theater and wait in line. Like that was one of my favorite things to do. And now it's like you don't ever really hear about it if anybody does them anymore.
I remember it was probably The Dark Knight Rises. All the midnight releases around me were completely sold out. Sold out. I had to go see a movie 9 o'clock in the morning to be able to see it the opening day. See, Shining Things, as I agree, is absolutely ridiculous.
I agree, Morgan.
I didn't read Morgan's comment yet. I get the experience with the other 20 hours in comfort in my home. You want to take? Yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely. Like, I rather the 20 hours watching at your leisure for that 24 hours is absolutely perfect. But all I'm trying to say is, say something comes up and you can't watch it within that day period. Now you got to pay another $20 to get that same movie that you had paid the $20 previously. Trust me, I like watching TVs on a 47-inch TV if I could, because I'm more comfortable in my own home. So it's weird how you look at it. You got the pros and cons to both. So what we got, Mr. Eli in the background?
Yeah, he wants to hang up his calendar.
Okay. Hello, hey, Tyler. Thanks for popping in tonight, Tyler. Just make sure you have yes, and that's part of renting a movie at home is to make sure you have the time to sit down and watch it.
Tyler, since you're just joining, what is your most anticipated movie coming out in 2023?
So, no, but Morgan's right that you have to set aside that time to watch the movie that you're paying to rent. So I agree with doing that.
Yeah, and that's the good leisure of it too. Like you said, you can watch it on your own time. We've rented movies off of Vudu before, and it's kind of nicer because like when the kids are home all day, they can rewatch it as many times as they please in the 24-hour period. Where if you go see it in the theater, you only get to watch it that one time, and you have to wait or go spend another $50.
Yeah, I mean, Shannon, that's worth the experience alone. Taking a kid to his first ever movie to see it in a movie theater for the first time is definitely worth the experience. I 110% agree with that.
Eli's first movie was the Lego Batman movie. It was so worth it.
And Tyler says the Mario movie.
Mario, yes. Tyler, yes. You'll have to fly down and come see it with me.
So, if I was to bring up my childhood, I think the first movie I saw in movie theaters was the original Jurassic Park.
I don't remember what my first movie is, but the movie that I remember the most seeing was Pokemon the movie. And that was because when the screen got dark and then like all of a sudden, you hear the IMAX sounds, my dad screamed and it made everybody in the theater laugh. And like, so that's like my most memorable movie, but I don't remember what my first movie in theaters was, but that's one that I remember the most.
Tyler said, bet, looking up tickets now. So you might have a movie date before you know it. If you want to talk about movies that always made me laugh seeing in theaters, me and 14 of my friends went and saw Ready to Rumble. So it's an old wrestling movie. And halfway through the movie, we all decided to get up and start a fight in the movie theater. We were rambunctious, or the time my best friend was on a date. We saw Spice World. Oh, Jesus. But then we also saw Stuart Little. You remember the first Stuart Little?
I love Stuart Little.
It was me, about 4 other friends, and then my one friend was on a date. So he sat away from all of us with his date at the time. Well, halfway through the movie, we all got up and dumped our popcorn over the top of them and went back to our seats. Granted, the movie theater wasn't happy with us. We got banned for a month, but there's many ways you could have fun in a movie theater and get away with this. So, come on. How do you person again? I don't know how to get rid of this person. I'll have to figure it out. But luckily on Facebook, they don't see that.
Right.
Very annoying. But well, Pinocchio. Shannon's first movie in theaters was Pinocchio.
Mm.
That's going back a couple years.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jurassic Park was the first one I saw, which was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I think I jumped a little bit when the T-Rex yells. But then again, you figure Johnny back then, that came out, 1993, so I'm like maybe 6, 7 years old at the time, so.
Tyler, you're just a baby.
I believe my first movie was Monsters. Wow. Monsters, Inc. Okay.
Oh, John, speaking of Tyler being so young, I thought he was only like 19 or 20. And then I find out he's much older than that. I felt so bad.
He's still a baby compared to what me, myself. I'm not trying to call your age out, but I'm gonna be 36 in a couple weeks. I'm getting old.
I'll be how old am I? I'll be 31 this year. I'm like, wait, how old am I?
Yeah, so you're around the same age as Morgan. So to us, Tyler is just a kid. It's okay, Tyler. We still love you.
No, we were talking about Jim Bean in a chat, and I'm like, Tyler, are you even old enough to drink? And he's like, duh. I honestly thought he was like 19.
He'll be 23 this year.
Well, Tyler, you look great for your age.
What about me? I'm gonna be.
You're ancient, John. I'm just kidding. Wow. You look good for your age.
Maybe I should grow the beard back. That's what it is. I'm missing the beard.
I don't know. I like the length that it's at right now.
Well, I had to shave it because last Friday I had that wedding. So, I mean, I need a haircut. Don't get me wrong, but
I need one too. I'm actually thinking about shaving my head tonight.
Yeah, Tyler says it's the beard. That's why I look older. And Morgan says I feel old. Morgan, you're the same age as Andrea. Stop it. If anyone should feel old, it should be me. Okay. Okay, Shannon wins.
Well, did anybody else want to discuss any upcoming movies, or are we about ready to call it a night?
That's well, wow, almost 2 hours already.
I know time has flown. I'm like looking at the clock. I was like, wow, like already.
I mean, we can keep going. Me and Mike and Ryan last week almost had 3 hours.
Oh, I don't want to go that late.
Well, you're the one that had 2,400 movies on your list, so.
I made it to like 500, and then I was like, none of these sound interesting anymore. You know, Morgan, so I started working at Walmart just shortly after I turned 16, and everybody thought I was in my 20s when I worked there. So when I told them that I wasn't old enough to like operate any of the heavy machinery, nobody believed me. And I'm like, guys, I'm still in high school. Like, I'm not allowed. I'm like, I still got to follow all the underage rules and everything like that.
Well, that's what I always say with Wegmans. Like, I say I feel old. Oh, you're just a kid. I think, okay, but put it to you this way. I was 19 years old when I started working at Wegmans. And now I'm going to be 36, so I'm closing in on 17 years at Wegmans. You might as well say almost half my life.
Oh, Shannon, you don't apologize for being late. We appreciate that you were able to join us at all. Like, even if you're just coming on to say hi and bye, like, we appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what she said. I hold nobody accountable who shows up for a minute or two. You make your presence known. You say hi. You drop a leg.
I mean, there's some nights where I have to, where I come and say hi and then I have to go because I'm either not feeling too good or I've got kids to take care of. Like, I really try to be more present, like on the nights that I'm not on the camera, but some nights it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, Morgan's only here because you're here. Most times she's not in the chat at all. So, just saying, Morgan. Just saying. Wow, I do not hold grudges against people who don't say hi. I encourage people to say hi. I get it. People don't like to chat. And I have gotten away from that because on my phone, it tells me who's watching. I used to put something in the chat to try to draw them out, but I realize I can't do that anymore because it's rude. So if you're looking in chat and don't like to chat, that's fine. I don't do sports, and that's fine, Morgan. Listening counts too. That's what my cousin Kelsey does 95% of the time. When Kelsey can't talk, she just listens. I'm not going to win with Tyler. I give up.
Tyler, check your messages. Ignore John for a minute and check your messages.
Are you like, wait, whoa. Time out. Are you calling me out?
No, I'm not.
Movies I'm interested in, but I don't do Star Wars. Morgan, I'm with you on that one.
And that's what makes us so great as a podcaster, whatever, as a whole. Like, we all have topics that we don't like. Like, I don't like horror, but I'll still be here when we do horror. Like, I mean, it's not gonna be my thing to talk about, but I'll be here. And sports, like, I'll log on and lurk, but most of the times, like Mondays and stuff, are my busier nights with my family. I've got my son starting basketball next week, and I'm not 100% sure what his schedule is going to be like. I know his practices, I think, are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then his games are on Saturdays.
We all have lives. I work 40 hours a week and then do this for 30 hours a week. So, like, I don't expect everyone to be on all the time, but I appreciate when people do chime in. And that's what keeps us going week after week, is just people interacting with us. So I want to know what the secret conversation between Andrea and Tyler is going on. They're calling me out about something. Not nice.
Really not. I just asked him what his schedule was like.
Yeah, don't keep secrets from me. It's not nice.
Shannon, I feel you on that, Matt. That is a series I will never get into. The books, the movies.
I'm guilty. My name is Jules. I'm skipping Tuesday meetings to do my show. Yeah, I mean, Morgan, like, just the reason all this, like, Morgan's busy, so.
And Morgan, we love you because you do a phenomenal show on Tuesdays.
Yes. She has a fun one with that whole show she wants to try to do.
It's going to be really fun if we can get it all worked out.
We will. I know we will.
But I hate to leave, but I'm starting to not feel too hot. I think I need to go back in and figure out what's going on, but we're almost 100%. I promise, guys. Like, I'm hanging in there. Like, the fact that I'm here tonight says a lot. Like, I'm feeling overall a lot better, and I hate that it was almost 2 months that I wasn't here. Because I hated leaving John high and dry, especially last Friday, where I know it wasn't my fault, and it was just like nothing seemed to be going well for anybody last week. But it's good to be back. Like, I've missed this. I've missed talking movies. I've missed hanging out with everybody. And
we shall be back. But I won't keep Andrea. I just want to be Shannon's comment. She loves vampire movies, but not some. Twilight's not for everybody. I've watched all of them. I'm guilty. But
thanks, Shannon. I'm sure I'll feel better soon. We just got to figure it out. It's one of the downfalls of getting older in age. You seem to catch everything that comes around and goes around.
Yeah, I hear you on that. So, but I'm going to end the show so we don't keep Andrew on longer. Andrew, thanks for popping in tonight.
Thanks for having me. I love being here.
So we will be back on Monday night for another fun Sports Gladiators. Until then, hope everyone has a fun, safe, fun weekend, and we will see you on the next show. See you at work, Shannon? Yes, you will.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.